My name is Casey Townsend. I'm the executive director at Native Community Organic Farm. I first heard about Native Community Organic Farm when I was working at another farm just north of here, and there was a mystique about this place, and it was the mystique of an organization that had been here for so many years, a person who had been kind of driving the ship here, Linda Simpkins, for almost 3 decades, and so kind of having that opportunity to come learn about this place and ultimately work here was kind of like, oh, that's a really interesting, stable, well-run, mission-driven organization, which I really wanted to be a part of, and that's kind of what led me here. I was lucky enough to have what I would consider like the longest internship fellowship under Linda Simpkins for 5 years. So it was nice to be able to work with her, alongside her, and really understand the organization as she had built it and the core principles that like adhere to the mission and why this place exists. And so during that time, it was really amazing because I still remember Lindisms, as I call them, like never walk with empty hands, or all these little things. And those little things end up being really big things when you relate them back to the mission. And so I think as an organization from 2013 until now, we still have those core tenets in place. We still teach people about where their food comes from. We still educate and we integrate people as much as possible. I think we've changed a little bit as an organization in terms of we just might be a little bit fancier, but I think at the heart we are still who we are. We're very much a public farm. We very much integrate. Anybody who wants to come here can come here. We open people with open arms. This is their place, and we want to celebrate that. I would like to say it's the stuff that I grow. Like I'm very lucky that I help with a vegetable operation, and I can think back to some very beautiful pictures in my brain of like a crop of arugula or something that we've grown that I was very proud of. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of are the people that I get to work alongside here, and so it's been really awesome. Since 2013, I've known a lot of kids who have come through here, and I think it's a really special journey you get to go on, from seeing kids when they're 13 until now they're 23, 24, out into the world. And you get to see this development, this change of people. And I can think of one particular person who I've been on this kind of journey with this entire time, of a person who had kind of like some struggles as a teenager, and then helping them through that, and then seeing how resilient they have become and how successful they've become in their life now. And that's just like one small example of all of the many examples of how we cultivate people and get a chance to go into their lives. Or with volunteers, you get a chance to see what's happening in their life. You get a chance to be an ear for them, whatever's going on. And you really get a chance to integrate into their lives, but then they integrate into our lives as well. And so the people here are, I think, the most important part. And as I look around this place, like I can think like, I know who built this, and now I know what they're doing now. And this physical structure has led to the career of many different people, or that thing has a story, or that has a story. Everything that we do here has a story that I relate back to the people who built it or who were involved in it. I think a lot of things. I think 3 things. Learning to be super resilient, I think, is something that we teach a lot, and that resiliency comes with just failure. I think in a lot of like other parts of the world, failure is something that it's very much looked down upon. And not that we want people to fail, but I think when we have people who do make a mistake, we want to make sure that we are there to support them, but also kind of provide that lesson of this is why it happened, and this is how we can respond to it, this is how we can be resilient to it. I think that's one thing that we focus in a lot. I think also this aspect of I think about this term, think locally, act globally, and I think that we can really teach people here that this is a small microcosm of a community, and this is how we treat each other as community members. How can they then take that outward into other parts of the world? And so I think our goal is not necessarily to make farmers, it's to make really great people and to have those connections with people. And so I am proud of the farmers that we have made. the small little handful of them. But I think more so, I think the value is just teaching people about thinking outside of yourself, thinking about how my actions interact with others, how does that impact the greater community. I think that's something really important that we do. I think in the current state of the world, I think it's really easy to be very cynical and just think everyone's out for themselves and no one really thinks about other people. But this place is just the exact opposite of that. That whether you're a staff member or a volunteer or like a youth who works here or a kid, people here think about other people a lot, and that to me creates a lot of like hopeful moments for the world. Like I know a lot of people think very um, negatively about the state of the world, but I think this place gives me a lot of hope that there's so much that humans can do to respond to our current situation, whether it's a local situation or a bigger situation, that allows me to think, oh yes, we can do these great things because I've seen it here. I've seen so many people do so many wonderful things here, and I think you can just translate that across. I think it has a huge impact far beyond something that I will ever understand. And I think it was, I didn't understand it fully until we lost our barn in 2021. And then seeing the support that came in from the community was just like a small flashpoint for me to say, wow, this place is so loved beyond anything that I ever knew. As an organization that's been here for almost 50 years, we've had so many people come through here, and it's so amazing to see volunteers. I have lots of conversations in the barnyard with people who are bringing their grandkids or their kids and who were here in the 80s, the 90s, who've now kind of come full circle. I think this place means different things to different people. For some people, it means really amazing food that we grow. For some people, it's, a community system, a support system that they need. For others, it's just open space, and I think that's something that's continuously lacking in Natick. So I think depending on who you talk to, this place means something very different. I don't assume to know what all those things are that people like really value in this space. The barn. So yeah, it's I still think back to that day, and it still kind of hits me really hard. I I keep a barn. I keep a copy of the old barn key above my desk just so I can remember that day for a lot of different reasons. There's like talking about failure, right? That was like, in my opinion, one of my biggest failures of not like doing things properly. Maybe we could have done something. Maybe I could have done something differently. But I think that was a really tough day. But again, on the flip side of it, it was about seeing how responsive and supportive people were to that singular event in so many ways, whether it was bringing food, whether it was bringing tools, bringing tons and tons of stuff to show their support. But losing that barn was, as a 200-year-old barn, it meant a lot to a lot of people here in Natick. Every day here is a great day. So my job is really unique in the sense that I have these administrative duties and managerial duties, but they're paired really well with integration with our volunteers and our teens, and so that's just who we are as an organization. Like the mission is to make this confluence between education and production, and I'm lucky enough to be able to spend. I just spent an hour stacking wood with people, and that may seem like a really like menial job for a lot of people, but the relationships you build when you do things like that, we have a lot of fun with ridiculous conversations and funny anecdotes, and after you're with people for a while, you get a really great sense for who people are, and you get to see them grow and change. And I've probably spent more time with people here in the last 10 years than I probably have with some of my best friends when growing up. And that's a really special thing to be able to share those moments with people, both good and bad, because there are both good and bad moments. But I would say every day here is a pretty fun day, whether you're stacking wood or chasing pigs or collecting sap. It's always fun. Well, I hope we stay true to our mission. I mean, we exist to grow food, to teach people, to cultivate people. I think Linda said it best when she said the greatest crop that we grow is the people, and I think that the medium with which we do that is agriculture. And so we do that through animal husbandry, flowers, vegetables, maple syrup. And so I hope that we continue to do that and the space stays here for the next generation.